Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a clean functional pop-up in Webflow using only native interactions, no custom code needed. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set up a clickable button that reveals a pop-up, and you'll understand how Webflow's built-in tools make this process surprisingly easy. If you've ever wanted to display a special message, newsletter sign-up, or image right on top of your web page, this tutorial is for you. So let's dive straight in and get started. First, let's head into our Webflow designer. For this demo, I'm assuming you already have a button in your project that you'd like to use to trigger your pop-up. If you don't, go ahead and add one from the Add panel. Any button element will work. Once you have your button, click to select it. Now think of this button as your light switch. It's what users will interact with to open up your pop-up. Next, let's actually create the content that will appear in your pop-up. You'll want to insert either a text block, an image, or whatever content you want displayed inside the pop-up. You can do this by adding a new div block and styling it however you like. Maybe give it a fixed position centered in the viewport with a background color and some padding so it stands out from the rest of your page. Place your text, image, or even a form right inside this div. Now, before we jump into interactions, it's a good idea to hide the pop-up by default. So select your pop-up container and in the Style panel, set the display to None. This way, your pop-up is there in the page structure but invisible until you want it to show up. Alright, time for the fun part, making your button actually trigger the pop-up. Go ahead and click on your button again to make sure it's selected. Now head over to the Interactions panel, which is that little square lightning bolt icon in the right sidebar. Click it to open the Interactions menu, here where the magic happens. Click plus to add a new interaction, then select mouse click tap. This means we're going to define what happens when someone clicks, taps, or otherwise activates this button on any device, desktop or mobile. Webflow gives you two actions here, one for the first click and another for the second click. For the first click action, select the custom animation option and choose to show your pop-up container, for example, setting its display back to flex or block, and maybe even add a fade-in effect to make it look smooth. The idea is when the button is clicked the first time, the pop-up appears front and center. Now for the second click, this is what happens when your user clicks the button again or taps it after the pop-up is already open. In most cases, you'll want to hide the pop-up, creating a simple open and close toggle. So just add the same kind of action, but instead set it to hide the pop-up, maybe set display back to none, or use a fade out. This way, your button both opens and closes your pop-up, keeping things intuitive and user-friendly. If you'd like, you can always add a separate close button inside your pop-up as well, for extra usability. Before wrapping up, let's see it in action. Hit the preview button in the top right corner of the designer and try clicking your button. You should see your pop-up appear and disappear on the next click. If it's not quite working how you expect, don't worry, double-check your interactions panel and make sure your target element is set to your pop-up container. Sometimes it takes a bit of trial and error, and that's perfectly normal. And that's all there is to it. You've just created a native pop-up interaction in Webflow. If you found this tutorial helpful, give it a like, and if you have any questions or run into any issues, let me know in the comments below. I love helping out. Don't forget to subscribe for more Webflow and web design tutorials. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.